So can we start over?
Well, why?
Let's start over for the fourth time. Yeah.
Well, we didn't know we were on.
No, we shouldn't have to know.
Yeah, we shouldn't have to know. You're right.
I think we should just roll right into it.
Yeah, we're rolling. This will be in the
but
podcast.
I can't hear.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, because we're not ready yet.
Oh,
That's why.
No, we're fine. We're fine.
So what's the deal, man? I told you what happened last weekend.
Yeah.
You're a big country music fan?
I'm trying to. I'm trying to become one.
Are you?
Yeah.
So it's
not.
not.
It just seems like that's the thing. Like, what's it? Jelly roll?
I actually. So what's what's interesting, and it's promising for me because I wanted to be a country singer, but there's a certain look you had to have, and that's a Tim McGraw, Kenny Chesney, George Strait, Clint Black, Alan Jack. These guys are all thin, small. Not now. Jelly Roll, even Luke Combs. There's some big guys up there.
When you say that's across the board,
now it's like now the thing. So I think everybody now.
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
You don't always have to look like Elvis.
Jelly Roll's all tatted up.
He's the man.
But you know what he's got? He's like got this genuine, he's like passionate.
There's like a lot of authenticity coming from him.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I appreciate.
I don't really know his songs. Here's the thing.
I don't either. I just heard some of his interviews, and he just seems like a really cool guy.
Well, when a lot of their music on the radio, when you hear it, it's like I don't know who they are. I just hear the song, and then when I hear it came from them, I was like, oh, that's who sang that song.
Yeah.
But
so
I got to see George Strait. George Strait's the king of country music. Like he is
the movie. What was the movie?
Pure Country.
That was a good movie.
Pure Country?
Yeah. I like that movie.
Yeah. I've watched that movie probably 15 times.
16.
16?
For me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a true fan.
I know.
What was his name? I think his name was Dusty or something in the movie.
I think so.
But anyhow, that's a great movie. Well, George Strait's the king, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody, and he's not even, I'm not saying he's not my favorite country music artist.
Who's your favorite? Garth?
You know I can sing, right?
I've had plenty of opportunities to hear you sing. Yes.
So Garth Brooks is my I sound like him. Let's say he sounds like me, but that's more my key.
True.
Okay.
I could see the
Would
similarities.
she ever down? I'm about to do it.
Yes.
And people go, no, I'm not singing live on here. Unless I'm getting paid, I'm not doing it. And I'm not getting paid.
And you're a great piano player too.
I can play chords. But here's the deal. Garth Brooks, I love singing his songs. George Strait, though, it's like kind of like I don't want to go any other direction about talking about who's the GOAT of what. I'm going to leave that alone right now. Like you go, it's undoubtedly, right, Tom Brady. It's undoubtedly in my mind and a lot of George Strait. Even though I may have liked Garth Brooks more in some areas or Dolly Parton or another artist, it is George, though. Everybody understands.
So it's safe to say Tiger Woods is the George Strait of...
Yes, okay. Sure. Absolutely. Okay. And so here's what happens, right? We got tickets to go see George Strait in concert. My sister got tickets a year ago. Tampa, Raymond James Stadium, right?
Go Bucks.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy the video I'm about to show you.
Okay.
We're in section 306, the nosebleeds, okay? By the way,
I'm a little familiar, so yeah, you're way up there.
Listen, we're talking about George Strait here. Okay, My wife didn't know it was George Strait. She thought we were going to a Garth Brooks concert. We're scrambling. So she wasn't excited. We're scrambling around the day before trying to find somebody to watch the kids. Not that we hadn't tried days before.
She doesn't like country music?
She loves all music.
Okay, but
she's like, Garth Brooks. But then when I said, it's not Garth Brooks, it's George Strait. She goes, really? And then I'm like, it's not just George Strait. It's Little Big Town, Pontoon, something like that. Then after Pontoon, it's or I call him Pontoon, Little Big Town. It's Chris Stapleton, right?
Yeah, I like him.
Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah. He did a great job with the national anthem.
Yes, he did. Usually when you hear the national anthem at the Super Bowl, people are like, eh. And he's got incredible reviews. Probably the best I've heard since Whitney Houston, I guess, did it back in the early 90s or whatever.
I agree.
All right, so here's the deal. Then she finds out Little Big Town's going to be there, and she's excited. And they're like opening at 5:45. And then Chris Stapleton, and then the king of country music, George Strait. All right.
So you had the opportunity to see all three.
I did. So we get to Raymond James. We spend $50 to park up close somewhere near whatever. It's about, still a 15-minute walk because you walk to the other end of the stadium to go up the ramp or the escalator. 306. I'm like, not a big deal. It's going to be hot in Florida. We'll be high up. Wind's going to be blowing. We're good. We get to our seats. It's like any stadium. They're tight. And I'm a big guy, but I can fit in my seat, right? My wife is sitting next to me, and let's just say her seat is actually next to her, but she can't sit in that because someone doesn't fit in their seat all the way. And I'm going to be as polite and as nice as possible about this. Well, about 15 minutes later, someone shows up to get the seat that one of my friends is sitting in because we've all moved over from our seats one. So my wife can sit down. Well, she now has to move over to her seat, and she can't sit in it. So she's kind of like half on the seat, turned sideways. And I'm like, hey, Sid, this isn't cool. I'm going to go talk to guest services and see what we can do.
Did she spill her drink on the seat or something?
Okay. Producer Jake, what happened is there was a woman in the seat next to my wife's who decided that, well, she didn't decide. When she sat down, it
was like a lifelong list of decisions.
It
that
was.
led to that?
She was a bigger woman, and she spilled over into Sydney's seat. And Sydney actually thought that the what's it called, the armrest in the middle was broken or it wasn't there. I said, no, it's there. It's there.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I said it's there. I can see it. It's
Disappeared.
just you can't. And I'm not making fun of the woman at all.
So you're way up top.
Because what this woman did for us is going to turn out to be the most incredible thing in my life.
Well, so you're painting the picture. So you're way up top.
We're way up top. We're absolutely in the nosebleeds, right?
Minus a couple seats where you should be sitting.
Well, that's right. And it's like not comfortable. And Sid's great about it. She's like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. And so give you perspective, right? And we'll put it on the screen later. But there it is, right? That's where we're at. You see? No.
I can play the video now if you want.
No, not yet. There we go. There's where we are in 306. It's the highest possible place you can be in the stadium.
Yeah,
see
in the
that,
back
producer?
of the end zone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're way up there. Not bad, though. We're here. The music, it's in Florida. How blessed are we to have the ability to even go to a concert? Some people can't afford that. So we're good. But she can't sit down. So I'm like,
so how long were you guys in that section for?
30 minutes. 30 to 40 minutes.
Before you're like, I can't handle this.
Well, I couldn't. I didn't think it was fair to Sydney. So at some point, I was like, you just sit here and I'll go stand somewhere else. Well, I got up and went to guest services on 306. And they're like, hey, I said, here's what happened. They said, you need to go downstairs to guest services down there near the pirate ship where they shoot off the cannons. I'm like, okay. So I go down there. I find somebody like, hey, I'm trying to find this area. They told me, look, go back inside the tunnel. It's down here. So I go to guest services downstairs, and this lady looks at me and she goes, can I help you? I said, well, here's the story. This woman can't help it, right? She's in our seat, sort of, and I don't want to offend her, but my wife can't sit down. And I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3". I'm not the most chiseled guy in the world, but I can fit in my seat.
Still look good, buddy.
Thank you.
You have a great body.
I'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later because I feel the same way. And so they're like, she goes, well, you need to go back upstairs to guest services up there. I'm like, no. I'm not going back to guest services upstairs. They sent me here. So then she points me to the guy next to her and says, look, here's the situation. And I look at this guy and I look down and I see a pile of tickets. I'm like, oh, I see what's going on here. He might be able to move us. Now, I've never done this before. So I said, hey, sir, here's what's happened. We got a little spillage in our seat. We can't sit down. We need to move or need something done. Tell us what help. That's that. Nice. I'm using that nice word because the woman in 306 helped create one of the best dreams of my life. Okay. And here it is.
Okay.
He says, would floor seats be okay? I'm like, all right, don't lose your composure, Ben. Floor seats. I said, yes, floor seats would be okay. I said, that's fine. Like
you try to act like a crafty veteran.
Like it didn't matter. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Floor seats. Yeah, I only paid $150 for the nosebleeds. I'll take it. And he says, how many are there of you? I said, there's 4 of us. He says, okay. He said, all right, here. And he hands me them. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. All right. They're in my hand now because he's not getting them back. And so then we turn around and he ends up giving us the tickets. I walk away. I call Sid, say, hey, come on. We're on the floor. I look up the tickets. We are 40 rows back, center stage, and tickets that probably cost $1,000 a piece.
Sure.
And when the video comes back up, I want you to see the video and what happened.
Yeah, you're going to have to reconnect the HDMI.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's just a wire gets loose. Right there.
So it just all worked out, obviously, for the best.
Yes, absolutely.
See, things seem just to always work out.
Well, they do. They do. Part. So watch this video, okay? That's going to come up, and and we'll put it on the screen later. I don't know if you got the play buttons there somewhere.
1 second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna move it into the pipe. He's gonna pipe. He's
Look
gonna
at that pimp right there.
He's gonna
Look at
pipe
that
it in.
guy.
Hey, that's yeah.
No.
I actually, so you see the wristband on there? So we got these wristbands, right?
Is that for the nosebleeds or
well,
for
they
the
accidentally
floor?
gave me one that says medical. Mine says medical on it. I'm like, why'd you put medical on me? So I felt like a doctor. Like, I mean, I almost tried to get backstage with it. Like, does this mean I can go backstage?
Were you the only one that had that?
Yes, everybody else says floor on it. They're like, maybe they ran out, because I asked some people. I asked a cop. I asked a bunch of people, what does it mean? And it was really cool. You got it, Jake?
So if something happened to like George Strait or one of the band members, like they just collapse, you're just like,
Oh, dude, I'd be on stage like, hey, my wristband says medical, which means I can,
I got this.
You got the dreaded.
George Strait concert, Tampa, Florida. Got seats in the nosebleeds. Not anymore. Check out our view. We're about to walk out here. Right here, right now, the legend, George Strait. My mama's broken heart. That's not George Strait.
Oh my God.
But check out this view, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. I've been waiting for this my whole life. Tom Brady, where you at? Let's go. Look, for a cheap guy like me who's not going to pay $1,000 a ticket for floor seats,
You seem to manage.
yeah, and you got to see George Strait up close. That dude's 71 years old. I think he's got number one hits all time
He's
for
still- yeah.
30 years, something like that.
Is he still writing or is he just playing the older songs?
No, well, it's crazy. So he did some covers. He did like a Johnny Cash. He did a bunch of songs. He plays his stuff, but he didn't play "I Cross My Heart," which is like like the love song of country music.
So when you got down there, George was playing or not quite?
At that time, it was Chris Stapleton.
Okay.
Chris Stapleton, and
he blew it out of the water too, I'm assuming.
yeah, he did great. It's a different kind of music, and for people who listen to music, and I'm not great about it, my ears, like I can listen to it, but I'm not a great musicians can hear the sound differently. They'll tell you that there was a clear difference between Chris Stapleton's band and George Strait's.
In what way?
George Strait's band, you can hear. It's not just meshed in, right? This isn't like an omelet where everything's put in together. You can hear the steel guitar, and you can hear the violin, and you can hear the keyboard. You hear the instruments all. It's not just this jumbled mess, and it's kind of pure. Well, pure country, his movie.
Sure.
It was very just pure, all of it, and the sound.
So
was
it just
crisp.
seems that the band was like more seasoned. They were just more.
His band is called Ace in the Hole, and I don't know if Jake can pull up
And
anything
not to
on that.
taken away from the other guys, but it's
No.
just like these guys are just like, man, they're beyond. They're so in their element. These guys are beyond professionals.
The band's called Ace in the Hole. His band's called that.
And they've been around from day one.
Yes, this is George Strait's band. These guys go everywhere with them. I don't know. There's one that didn't have gray hair on their head. They were all older men who were up there playing, and it was just a great concert. And everybody's different. Their childhoods are different. I had a great childhood.
Where's he from?
George Strait, Texas. I want to say, and he's got a ranch in Texas, and he's a very private person, very private.
yeah.
And so, but it's just to hear him singing and doing his thing and kind of reflecting back into life a little bit. Music was awesome.
Yeah, it's from Poteet, Texas.
Poteet, Texas. But his music, it was just it was a phenomenal night, and it just for a moment, time sort of stopped, and it took you back. Like, I think some people go to Disney World a lot. If they went as a kid, they kind of go back, and now as adults,
you're kind of rediscovering your childhood a little bit.
yeah. So I
get that.
I read it. So I am a good singer after listening to George and then me singing along with him. Like,
How was the ride home? You just blasted George Strait.
I didn't go to bed. We got home at 2 a.m. because George played for over 2 hours. He came on stage a little after 9 o'clock.
It was hot out there too, wasn't it?
It was hot.
Yeah,
it was hot, but it was worth it.
So George is a trooper.
I have a video of him walking off stage.
Do you think he's a little disappointed with his his promoter? What are you doing? Putting me down in Tampa, in August.
Hey, maybe.
What are you guys thinking?
He loved it.
Okay,
but I will say this: his sound crew, which is right behind us, the engineers, they had AC piped in blowing into their open tent. So I think he had some. I know there were big fans on stage.
Sure.
Yeah, it's hot.
You want the song Ace in the Hole, or just is their band called Ace in the Hole?
Yeah, the band's called Ace in the Hole.
Oh.
Just say George Strait's band and look up images in Google. I wouldn't think that I have to tell somebody in their 20s how to use Google,
Dude,
My age?
I look up George Strait, Ace in the Hole, and the song comes on.
Because he has a song called Ace in the Hole.
Yeah,
So that's I understand that. What's his song?
If he binged it, it would have been different.
Oh yeah, you don't want to
Yeah.
do that.
liberal Google.
Or don't
doesn't want-
don't use Yahoo either. But listen, and then what's cool is I didn't realize how many people I saw. Somebody I knew on the floor. I saw a friend when I was walking. He was walking by with his wife out, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man?" We started talking. But when I got back home and you got on Facebook, everybody's posting pictures of George Strait concert. I'm like, we were all there. We were all there in this big stadium together.
Yeah,
When we left, I don't. You know the Tampa St. Pete area very well.
a little bit.
Okay, so when you're going, look at those guys. And those are younger pictures. Every one of those guys are older there. They're older now. Look at them. So, and that's his band. These guys are seasoned, man, and it was just pure. So
George ain't in that picture.
no, George is somewhere.
Okay.
When you left that stadium, 5 miles down the road going up Interstate 75 was packed. Okay,
Yeah, that's Hillsborough, right? Was it Hillsborough?
wherever the stadium
think
is,
it
I don't
was.
know. But
Yeah.
going up, it's just
You saw Legends, the baseball field?
Yes, well, you see that from the top of Raymond James.
Mm-hmm.
You get up where we looked, you look over the back, it says Yankee something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty cool. So, I just wanted to share that story with you, and I hope you remember that the rest of your life about when the moment, the lady in 306, right?
Yeah.
You take a negative moment, you take this, and by the way, the woman did never acknowledge, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, or I can't help it. She didn't do anything like that. She smiled from ear to ear, like, I'm here, and I'm going to enjoy this. And that woman right there, I thank to this day because she got us onto the floor of a George Strait concert, his last
And she's
concert
probably
in an open
thanking you.
stadium. Yeah, she is because she
us
didn't
one
have anybody next to her. She's like, these 5 seats, these four seats to my left opened up. I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
Now I can take 3.
So it really all worked out.
Lady-
But it's a phenomenal memory
It
that
is.
you will carry.
It is because I won't say I idolize George Strait, but I don't care about any other artists like that. Dolly Parton's a big one. If Elvis Presley or Michael Jackson's alive, like how I view them as icons, I would want to see those people. I don't view any other country music artist like I view George Strait, like I view that. So I know that,
Country's country's not necessarily your favorite genre.
oh no, country
It
music,
is.
yes, absolutely. Yes, no question.
Okay.
People don't know that usually. When I was going to high school, people were like, you like country music? I thought you like rock and heavy metal. And I'm like, because I don't wear a cowboy hat and blue jeans, which,
Yeah, that was kind of the
there's a story there.
you wore a cowboy hat and
One time I sang in the talent show,
how long ago was
Garth
this?
Brooks, The Dance. This was in high school, my senior year. And I bought from
I like to get pictures of that.
there's a picture somewhere. I purchased a shirt that looked like what Garth Brooks would wear on stage, the tightest blue jeans America makes, a black cowboy hat and boots, and wore those on stage.
How'd you feel?
I couldn't breathe because they were all so tight. But
Besides that, did you feel like power? Huh?
I can't
'Cause
say
you were up there, you were singing.
truth be told,
Yeah.
my expectations were pretty low because the singer before me, poor girl, people can be mean, and
They booed her off.
she didn't do real well. She got a little pitchy. I think when you do a
So
high
you should have felt extremely confident after that.
I felt confident when they didn't do it to me. I'm like, oh, I did it. She didn't get booed, but there's this thing where they say, pull, bang, boom.
Can you replicate this, guy? Just paint this picture in my head. I want to. So, you had the tightest blue jeans possible, cowboy boots,
Yeah.
long sleeve shirt,
Mhm.
like long sleeve, like button,
Yes.
big bucket hat.
Yes. Yes. All of it. I'm there. What are we doing, Jake?
We're looking for your picture.
Playing with me?
I was
We're looking for.
I was trying to
the
find
audio.
the background, and then I
Oh.
found the
You found the
Randy
wrong
video,
thing. Got me going.
and then I like that better, so I thought I'd
Yeah.
include it.
So
What song was it?
The Dance by Garth Brooks. So The Dance is probably one of his most famous songs. That and Thunder Rolls. He's got a bunch of great songs. Which, by the way, you want to know something?
I'd like to hear that song. Could we play that real quick?
The Dance?
Yeah.
Oh,
We should have a segment where we all have to sing like seriously and try not to laugh,
we could do that one day.
or
One day, that'd
today.
Because you won't do it today, Damon?
I'll try. It'll have to be like karaoke.
No, we'll do it
Yeah,
another
we
day.
can pull up
We'll
karaoke.
do it another day.
We have karaoke up. We got a TV. We can.
Well,
have the
what
lyrics.
producer Jake? What would you
So-
sing?
If I had to sing one,
Hakuna Matata. He's gonna sing some Disney Lion King or something.
I have a very
No worries.
Baritone voice.
Right.
Probably.
Monotone or baritone?
Wow, nice one. Probably The Gambler.
The Gambler?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I don't know the lyrics like that, so I'd need them up there. But
That's a group or
no.
The Gambler's
By Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers,
Oh,
The Gambler.
okay. So
Yeah.
you got to remember, I'm not a big country.
So
Sure.
it's interesting. People who
Kenny Rogers is the man, though.
country music, I think, for people who don't listen to it, have this idea about what country music is. George Strait didn't sing one song about a dog. He didn't. I don't even know there was a song about beer. Like, is it the whole
That's
thing?
a stereotype.
It's a stereotype on country music. Now, hold on. It is a true stereotype among some singers because it's always about my woman left me, my beer. But you listen to the music and the song that's out there right now that I just heard some guys. You know the name, Jake, if I found them. They were reading the lyrics called Cheyenne. There's something called it's George Strait's song. Basically, it's about this rodeo cowboy who's been away and he didn't make the 8 seconds or he didn't make the cut. He didn't win. So he's coming home. And when he calls his wife to let her know, hey, I'm on the way home, she says, don't worry about coming home. Before you get here, I'll be long gone. And he's like, okay, well, baby, I have to go now because I can still make Cheyenne, which is his next rodeo. So he's like, all right, do your thing. And he goes, but the lyrics are that's the thing. That's the issue I have with music is when the lyrics become stupid. And it's like, not creative. Clint Black, for example, is a great 1990s country music artist who still plays today.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote so many of his songs and the lyrics and how he wrote them and twisted them. So The Gambler with Kenny Rogers is talking about there's a life lesson there. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them.
There's a backstory behind it. Yeah.
I love stories.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love. Not the same lyric that repeats itself 10 times. Like I literally sing a song like the red curtain behind you there. It looks pretty against your hair. And you're sitting there too. I'm like, what? And they sing it 10 times. And because someone who's really popular sings it, like, whoa, did you hear about this new song about the red curtain sitting there and it matching your hair? It's so dumb. Give me something deeper. Give me something that has some meaning. So anyhow, that's where I think newer music doesn't do that as much. But the newer country music does have a good rhythm and beat that is more good for parties and, because the older country music wasn't really like that. Some would argue with me. It was more line dancing.
Like with country music as well. I mean, there's some kind of, I don't know, similarities, I guess, like even with hip hop, especially if you listen to the older hip hop, it describes the struggle of what, how it was, like in, for instance, like New York City, like in Queens or Brooklyn, the Bronx.
Sure.
I mean, they were, in other words, rapping about, their surroundings and what was the norm.
Yep.
And country, I suppose, is kind of the same way, and that's why sometimes people have that, right? That misconception, this is what it's about. But it's changed, and then like what Notorious B.I.G. His first album was called Ready to Die, right? And all he flows about is the struggle to get to where he's at. And
whereas now it's all about flexing.
So and then now, but his second album was Life After Death, and all it is talking about drinking champagne, Kavasi, driving in Bentleys, all that stuff, because that was the life he was living, and you just kind of see how that. Of course, he only had those two, but I see that a lot with.
You've seen the music industry, I think.
How it's kind of like changed,
and you see them sort of come together. You see artists.
Like Nelly. Remember Nelly?
Nelly
he was doing that. Yeah.
Jelly Roll was a different, singing artist, if you will. Tim McGraw did something with what was it? It might have been Nelly.
Yeah,
over
I think
and
so.
over in my head,
yeah,
something like that. And even what's his name? Darius Ruckers is
Sure.
Hootie and the Blowfish, right? And he's
we used to always call him Hootie. Hootie, poor fella. He had he had to recreate himself.
He sure.
I'm not Hootie.
I'm Darius Rucker. Well, and there's an odd one out there, which is Garth Brooks. So Garth Brooks is this mega star, right? He put 1 million people in Central Park, New York, for a concert. 1 million people over 20 years ago.
Wow.
And then he went to this alter ego called Chris Gaines.
Sure.
And tried to do some type of, and it's weird. It's different. I'm not sure if that was an artist thing where he has a different side to him. You think about.
Was it? You got that from Eminem?
I don't know.
You try to go Slim Shady.
God. And Slim Shady's a fantastic artist. I think he's creative. His music. I like them. I don't listen to them. I really don't listen to a lot of music.
Or the Prince. Remember, what was it? Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince. Anyway, I throw that out
Purple
there.
Rain.
Purple Rain.
Yeah. So anyhow, I got to see the legend, and I probably won't go to another concert for a while.
Why not?
I got my tickets.
Unless you're playing.
You know what? I'm doing this right here live on the podcast. You ready for this? I hope nobody steals these. I'm gonna set these right here.
Who would steal?
Huh?
He asked who would take it.
Can I look at the camera and say something to it real quick?
It's right there.
To the lady in 306. Thank you. All right.
So everything works out for the best, Ben.
It does. It does. So I wasn't mad at her. I really wasn't.
So this was last weekend.
Yeah. Yep. Saturday night.
What about this? Any highlights this week? This past week?
Ooh, I don't know.
This is it? Is this it right here?
Hey, we're here now. We're here now. Going out west soon. Going out west. Gonna spend 6 or 7 days out in South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
South Dakota, Yellowstone area. Taking my wife's grandfather out there. He turns 80 next week.
Wow.
And taking him out there for
anyone else?
Yeah, another friend of ours.
Okay.
Another friend of ours is going. And we're going to have a good time and get to see Yellowstone and stuff. He spent a lot of time out there when he was younger with his brother and his friends, and so a lot of them have passed on. So it's sort of a nice trip to him to go back out there, maybe one last time.
How long are you going to be going
6,
for?
7 days.
Okay. Yeah. How do you have it pretty much mapped out?
Oh, yeah.
And how are you going to, down to the T?
The problem is I'm not going to tell people what we're actually doing and when we're doing it.
Oh.
A lot like the President of the United States.
Yeah.
You'll know after I go.
Okay.
Listen.
So it's a big mystery for everyone else.
Because for safety purposes.
For safety purposes.
Yeah. Hey, guys, he said he was going to be in.
And then you just don't want like a huge gathering of people.
No, like, hey, well, let's get his autograph. That's the guy that was on the Section H for the George Strait concert. I don't need that. I want to go just relax and enjoy myself.
I'll be at Yosemite at this time.
It's like
hundreds of people.
Like, y'all are here to see Old Faithful, the guys, or are you here to see me? Right? And it's like, I'll sign autographs if I have to.
Well, that's pretty cool that you guys are doing it. I suppose this is the best time of year to do it, to go up in that area.
Yeah, you get into October, it starts to turn snowy, and then you're not
cold.
good till. So this is kind of if it works out perfectly, the leaves will just start changing color. I looked at the average time when we're going up, the average temperature, and it's around mid 70s or low 70s during the day and 45 at night.
Wow.
So I'm good. I'm like this, and I will wear shorts.
Yeah.
All around because I love it. I love the cold weather.
So once you're there, you're just going to spend a couple days there and then just make your way back. Is that pretty much?
Denver, Jackson Hole, which is a huge popular area in Wyoming, and then up to Cody, Wyoming, and then make our way east over toward Sturgis, South Dakota.
That's where they have the big motorcycle.
We'll be over near Deadwood area. I've never been there, but I've been doing tons and tons of research getting ready because when you make a trip like this, you want to make sure you hit the spots.
The Deadwood area where the HBO series was based on, is that?
Oh, is that what that's from?
I'm curious.
Okay, I'll look.
Producer Jake,
Jake, do you know anything about that?
About what?
Yeah.
I was trying to post to the gram. Sorry.
No, from the show?
Yeah.
So you're working. That's good.
I'm working. What'd you say?
He's talking about Deadwood. There was an HBO series called Deadwood. You ever heard of it?
Never heard of it.
But you've heard of Yellowstone, Kevin Costner, right?
Sure. Yes.
So
yes.
There's a good chance, and that's my thing.
That's what I was wondering because Deadwood. Is the Deadwood? Where is it located? In one of the Dakotas, South Dakota.
Deadwood, I think, is in South Dakota.
South Dakota. See if there's any resemblance to that.
Yeah, I will. I'll look it up. I didn't even know anything about that.
It's a big HBO series, very popular, and they ended up doing a movie at the very end.
Huh. Okay. I'll look it up.
It's the Black Hills of South Dakota.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. My sister's jealous because, well, no, she's not. Her husband will be because he's like, hey, let's do a trip out west. And I can be a cowboy because he's from Cincinnati. So he's not a cowboy. And I'm like.
He's closer.
Well, he wants. So we have this real life thing, right? This is probably the most impactful thing I'm ever going to say if you guys want to learn something from me right now.
Talking to the camp. Yeah.
If you're looking and you're watching this show right now, there's this
You're going to start monologuing. Never mind.
No, I won't do that. My thoughts. Oh, you want me to start looking at it and you zoom
into
it?
Hear this.
Yeah. Go.
All right, I'll do it for the sake. there's this thought process in this country, right, that we're going to run this rat race and we keep on going and going. You know what? I've learned from my friends that sometimes you got to just stop and just go. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out west and I'm going to pretend I'm a cowboy. And if I get a chance to throw a rope, if I get a chance to shoot a rattlesnake, I'm going to do it. If I get a chance to pan for some gold, I'm going to pretend I'm a 49er. I'm going to do it. That's what this is about. If I see a cactus on the side of the road, I'm going to eat the cactus. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do whatever it takes to be a cowboy, to live in that moment. Okay?
Get that 6-shooter?
That was not worth the Zoom.
It wasn't worth the Zoom. I was trying to be impactful. I was trying to send a message to the country that I'm ready for this Western trip.
No, it was impactful. I think I'm just jealous.
I got an idea. Producer Jake, I got a great idea.
Yeah.
I think you should go in your closet.
Okay.
All right.
This closet?
Well, yeah.
Closet.
I think
it is.
I think what you need to do. I think what you need to do is, go find those boots, those tight jeans, that shirt, and that bucket hat. And I think you need to go out west, buddy. I think you need to take that with you when you go on the trip.
I'm going to look for my shirt because I have it still to this day.
What about the bucket?
The hat?
Yeah.
The hat, I gave it away to one of my basketball players I coached back in the day.
I got to find you one.
Loved it. Black hat, just like George Strait or Clint Black wears. A black cowboy hat.
Or actually, just buy one when you're out there.
Yeah, that's easy.
It's a good. I'm sure a lot of people have them out there.
Yeah, well,
probably a better deal.
You know that the Wranglers that those cowboys wear aren't just any Wranglers. See, a lot of people don't know this. So I'm gonna share a story with you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do it as quickly as possible.
To hear this.
Okay. So back when I was a freshman in high school, my brother had made contact with Clint Black's brother in Houston, Texas.
Which
Clint Black is a country music artist, and he had a brother that was also an artist in Houston.
Okay.
Okay. His brother was working to try to make it. He's the older brother of Clint. Okay. Clint's known for playing the harmonica. We had Little Mike only recently, the harmonica. Clint is known in country music for his harmonica playing and his music.
Okay.
Well, he got that from his older brother, Brian Black, who had a harmonica, and he took it from him to learn how to do it. Well, anyhow, I got a chance to go out to Texas and Houston several times my freshman year of high school into my sophomore year. And Brian Black was working he had a band. He still plays to this day. Still does shows around Houston, San Antonio, Bandera, Texas, and all that. But I had a chance to go out there, and I remember when he told Brian, "Hey, Bub," he called him Bub, B-U-B. "Hey, Bub, when you come out here, here's the Wranglers." And it was a certain code, like you need to get Wrangler G6792 something. I'm like, you mean you can't just go to Walmart and grab some Wranglers? Nuh-uh. They were special Wranglers. They were classy. The way they starch their shirts, they starch the heck out of their dress shirts. They almost stand on their own when they need a clothes hanger.
Okay.
His cowboy hat for his music was all inside of a case because we went to several shows of his. He did one in downtown Houston at a huge music festival. He had another show where I'd never seen so many limousines in my life. There must have been 80 or 80, like 90. I counted them. I was young, so what I was doing was sitting on backstage. I'm just counting how many limousines were coming to this corporate event he sang at. And then there was a bar in just outside of Houston. It was in Katy, Texas, called Moe's. And in Moe's bar, I was too young to be in the bar at that time. I'm 16, 15, but I was helping set up before his show. And he had what was called a record label showcase. Special VIP passes, all kinds of stuff. And in this bar, it was the craziest thing ever. And you may have seen something like this. It wasn't just country music. Country music was the big section of the bar, but within the bar, they had these other smaller bars where they played rock music or they played metal or they had hip hop. It was kind of cool, but the main stage was country. And I got to see it. It was a pretty cool experience for me.
Nice.
Yeah, that was mine. Yeah. And so he's like, no, here's what, and on our way, he'd be driving in his Suburban. He'd be drinking a gallon of water on the way to drink the concerts. And he would.
Sure, that was water?
It was water. It was water. He would be warming his vocal cords up and making all kinds of weird calls and sounds, just trying to get them stretched out. I'm like, man, I want to be a country music star.
These are the people you looked up to.
Oh yeah. Country music for sure. Yeah.
What about no athletes or riders or anything like that?
Well, Tiger Woods later, because Tiger Woods came around in '97-ish.
Okay.
No.
But even when you were younger, so it was just mostly the country music stars that you looked up to.
Yeah. Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah.
1 jersey, 2 jersey, 300 something sports cars. Yeah.
Sure.
Michael Jordan in basketball, baseball. Chipper Jones was my favorite.
Yeah, Chipper, Larry, good old Larry.
That's his real name, right?
Yeah.
Well, he's out of Jacksonville, right? Went to Bowles High School.
Yes. Well,
almost positive.
Oh, okay.
Almost 100% positive.
Okay.
Went to Bowles, and
he was very well known even before he made it into the bigs, like in the state of Florida in the baseball world. people knew that this guy was the real deal.
Chipper.
Back then.
Here's the interesting thing about, and I don't know how it is for you two, Jake and stuff. So whoever my brother Robert liked, my oldest brother liked, I liked. And it was the Atlanta Braves, and it was Chicago Bulls, and it was Dallas Cowboys, and those sports teams. And who were the 3 best sports teams during that 90s time?
Yeah, in the 90s.
Chicago Bulls, Dallas Cowboys, and then the Braves, of course, in a short strike season, won in '94, the World Series.
Oh yeah, they had a lot of studs. I mean, those guys, that pitching.
This is the crazy thing. I don't know baseball that well,
but you know the pitchers.
I know that team.
Yeah,
Javier Lopez, Fred McGriff, Chipper Jones, Ryan Klesko, Andrew Jones, Mark Lemke, Jeff Blauser.
Jeff Blauser,
John Smoltz,
he had
Tom
a lot
Glavine,
of lettuce back
Greg
there.
Maddux. I knew almost the entire Braves team from that early '90s.
We had Smoltzy, the Smoltz. You had Smoltz, Glavine, Maddux, and Avery.
Steve Avery.
Yeah.
So my question is,
John Rocker.
His name came up last week. Because I went through an Instagram reel or something, and I saw it was talking about John
Producer
Rocker.
Jake, you ever heard of John Rocker?
No, I haven't.
Oh, man. He's...
Can I tell him?
Yeah. Very controversial. Very controversial.
Look him up.
Oh, dude.
What's his name again?
Yeah, and
John Rocker.
You probably can't really play... You could play what he said. It doesn't really matter. Was it racist or homophobic? It was something very bad.
The Mets, the New York Mets, and the Atlanta Braves they hate each other.
Yeah,
it's like Florida.
Do they still hate each other?
Yeah. They're the National East, and these are probably within the National East, from what I understand. I mean, these are I used to be a huge Mets fan. They're probably the teams that have the most money. They produce the biggest fan base, and
why were you a Mets fan?
Well, when I grew up in St. Pete, they used to spring train right down the street from my house.
Okay.
So I just would ride my bike, and it happened to be the Mets.
Yeah. Well, I've never asked my brother why he was a Cowboys fan.
Well,
or why he was a Bulls.
because they were always on TV. They were always,
They were America's team, right?
You got in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, John Rocker.
I'm looking at this quote that he said about foreigners.
Yeah, leave it alone. We won't say it.
What a champ.
Because we don't want to have... This dude is crazy. And
he
had a great arm. Wasn't he a lefty? A lefty
Yeah,
closer.
he was a lefty. He had a very interesting wind-up. I mean, he dominated for a while.
Actually, it ruined his career, what
and
he said.
He would, sprint onto the field. He was one of the few of... Because, they would have the bullpen all the way out in left field, and he's the guy, when they called his name, he would just run in there. And one time, it was the Shea Stadium with the Mets. He's running out, and people are literally throwing batteries at him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. John Rocker, he's different, one of a kind.
Yeah.
What a bro.
Yeah. So anyhow, it's good stuff.